Where exactly is California's boundary line? Let's find out. In 1848, Mexico gave up what is now known as California in the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. It was decided that the northern boundary line separating California and the Oregon Territory would land on the 42nd parallel. There's just one problem. Nobody physically knew where that was.
Watch for there's a log down right there behind you. Yeah.
In fact, few people today could physically find the boundary line. So back in 2019, I enlisted the help of surveyor Richard Davis. We're getting in the thick of it now. The Northern California boundary line spans 212 miles between Del Norte and Modoc counties. The reason it's so hard to find is because the original surveys were platted back in 1868.
The man who originally ran the 212-mile survey was Daniel G. Major, and he was listed as an astronomer and surveyor.
Daniel Major used a sextant and a crew of 19 men to locate the intersection of Nevada, California, and Oregon. He started at the eastern edge of California at Fort Bidwell in Modoc County, then made his way to the Pacific Ocean in Del Norte County.
It was very difficult at that period of time to determine where latitude 42 precisely was.
Finding longitude back then was fairly simple, but finding latitude required looking at the stars, using an accurate watch, and performing lots of math. On top of all of that, Daniel had to measure the distance with a heavy chain.
It was 66 feet long, and they would have to pull that through the brush, which would drive you crazy.
Daniel's journal recounts crossing arid plains in Modoc County, snowy mountains in Siskiyou County, and dammable brush in Del Norte County, all before reaching the Pacific Ocean.
It's just a circular disc here.
So this is not as impressive as I was hoping.
Yeah, it's not as impressive as some of the markers are.
It took Daniel Major a little over 2 years to complete the survey and reach the Pacific Ocean, which he supposedly marked with a whalebone. So this concrete is in place of that whalebone.
This is supposedly replaced where the whalebone was.
When Daniel Major was hired, he was supposed to create a straight boundary line along the 42nd parallel.
That didn't happen quite that way.
Unfortunately, due to his primitive survey equipment, his assumed straight boundary line ended up looking like jagged saw teeth.
It may be years before the people of Pine Creek know whether they live in Oregon or California. And that may be just the beginning of Oregon's border wars.
For decades, Oregon and California fought over boundaries and mineral rights, leaving some communities like the town of New Pine Creek wondering what state they lived in.
We don't know where the border is. We help each other out, all of us.
Other than a few exceptions, both states ultimately decided to stick with Daniel Major's boundary line because changing it would be too costly.
When you consider that this was done in 1860-something and the equipment that they had would have been declared very primitive to what's available today, I think they did a bang-up job.
From the California-Oregon state border line in Del Norte County, I'm John Bartell. Hope to see you on the back road.